We're ready to start. So we are officially live. So hello to everyone on the LinkedIn group, or LinkedIn as a whole, and then obviously everyone listening to the fireside chat. So welcome everyone. If you get comfy, grab a beverage of your choice, of course. So today is not a death by PowerPoint. We're talking AI, the good, the bad, the ugly, and probably anything in between. So to kick things off, I'm Ben Brophy. I run my own practice. I've set up APEN to bring like-minded people together so we can grow, share ideas, and generally develop, given the pace of AI and the general advancement in tech in accountancy recently. So there's no hard sales, there's no high entry points, and to celebrate the soft launch of APEN, I thought it'd be good to do a nice fireside chat, as it's very topical on AI, with upcoming podcast in the works. And I want you to know that obviously I planned this way in advance, 4 or 5 months ago, and obviously back then timed it perfectly, with all this next gen AI news coming in over the last week. I know magical powers, you're welcome. It's certainly made our lives a little bit harder, with the various updates and press releases coming out this week, and I suspect the next 2 weeks as well. But I think it's time to announce and welcome the first guest. So I'm pleased to welcome Simba to the fireside chat on AI. So welcome,
Excellent.
Simba.
Hi, Ben. Thank you very much, and thank you for everyone who's joining this webinar. Appreciate you taking time out of your day to just listen to us chatting about AI, and hopefully there'll be some insights. So, I am a member, an ICAW member in practice. My focus is actually working with companies within any field of science and technology, which does include aspects of AI as well, as with an accountant's mind, of course. So perhaps we won't go too techie today, seeing that Ben and I are both accountants, but I'm sure there will be some insights as well from an industry perspective as to what's been happening in the past few weeks outside of the huge IPOs that have been announced by the likes of Anthropic, which might take us into areas we've never seen before in terms of the valuation of companies, just showing what AI is doing. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah, it's I don't know if it was timed perfectly or it's I mean, we could go anywhere with this podcast today with talking about AI with all the news. So I guess it's a benefit to us,
Yeah,
or a burden, depending on that. There may be news today that goes out with our latest AI update release. Obviously, I notice in the background you have the picture of the ICAW building. Uh,
yes,
do you want to tell us what's that all about first before we get into
yeah,
it?
yeah, sure. Probably the story that brings me and you together, Ben, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Uh, w- well, the picture is part of a process that I've been through and I'm still going through it. I'm a volunteer, as is Ben, for the local chapter, the District Society in Bedfordshire, Buckinghamshire, and Hertfordshire for the ICAW. So it's called BPH, Society for Chartered Accountants, SCA. And as part of my voluntary work, an opportunity arose to volunteer to be president at some point. So it's a 3 year it's a 3 year process where you start off as vice president, leading on to becoming a president, and of which this picture comes with the appointment of one to being president, of which I am at the moment. And Ben is following hot behind my heels as
Yep.
he will have the same picture probably in the back. I'm not sure you have it in the same background as you do now.
Yeah.
Around this time next year, you should have it as well.
Who
All things being
knows?
well. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's the background. And what our role as BBHSCA really is to support chartered accountants within the three regions we cover, just to make sure that they feel like they belong within a bigger family of accountants, and are really supported with the provision of training, and some capacity. We've got some capacity to provide, CPD courses as well, and uh, a wonderful, wonderful annual dinner amongst many other things, and
Oh, that's
barbecue
good.
for younger members, etc. So great community to be a part of, and this has led me actually to be part of this chat, the fireside chat with Ben. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, God knows how you get that thing on a bike. It's definitely bring your car to pick up the painting. The thing is
it's,
absolutely ginormous.
yeah,
Um,
it's not the
right.
lightest.
Yeah. But I think it's that kind of community, and that's
That's right.
probably where it's quite similar. Of okay, well, we're looking at AI. The speed of AI is relentless. I was doing a talk recently on AI. I got asked to come back 3 months time, and part of me almost said, I don't have anything meaningful to chat about. I'm not gonna waste my time, and decided provisionally let's do it if I can get enough good content. And then 3 months time, I was like, I've got way too much. This is crazy. So having that community to bounce off of is really important. Um, let's kick things off. I wanted to do a bit of kind of basic myth busting on AI today, because there's so much out there. There's so much noise from people chucking in their payroll into AI, where it's ChatGPT, to the last announcement, we're all out of a job by Friday. It's There's so much talk, there's so much hype, and some of it is utter crap. To be blunt, in my opinion. So I've got for you, Simba, a number of myths. I'm gonna throw at you and get your opinion on.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
sure, go for it.
so the first one is the generic title, the question that everyone kind of hears at some point during their CPD or journey in AI, is AI will replace accountants within 5 years. That is the myth, or is it a fact? I'll let you lead.
Yeah, that is one of those myths, depending on what your role is, to be fair.
Yeah,
And what we find is, of course, when you're interacting with students coming up, maybe we're studying accounting and finance at university, some of them are actually switching courses, because if you do use any of the AI tools, ChatGPT, whatever might be the case, accountancy, of course, comes up as one of those jobs that will not exist once AI comes into full throttle. And of course, the AI is only as good as information it's been fed. Now, if you are looking at the profession as a whole, especially at that entry point, you are hearing stories about the larger firms reducing their graduate intake because they've got AI to do quite a lot of
mm,
the work, the hard yards, shall we say. Uh, but when you start looking further into the work being done by these firms, this is in practice, by the way. We haven't even touched the industry yet. It within
yeah,
practice,
true.
you will find that, of course, as soon as you get to those parts of the services which require a bit more thought, a bit more strategy, uh, human touch, shall we say, some common sense, really, you actually find that this myth is broken. Uh, then there's never a greater need for an accountant as there is right now, because all that AI can do is work with the information we give it.
Yeah,
But how does one actually know that what it's producing is what is correct, right? Or even close to the ballpark. So yeah, that's in my view, depending on where you're sitting, it's definitely a myth. But of course, if you are, doing the hard graft of actually putting in, inputting data, etc., it may actually be a reality to some extent. Yeah.
yeah. I think that's spot on. If we're going to come on to this whole kind of data entry versus consultant kind of specialisms of accounting. Whereas if you're in that first side, you need to be the manager. Perhaps you're a manager of AI agents doing that. In the future, there might still be a role for you, but that's probably the more risky of the two. Interestingly, so I lecture at Aston University as a industrial fellow, and we encouraged our undergrad students to use AI as a coach for their coursework. Um, we didn't get a single 100%, and that is in their own time. They've got AI. We've given them, a standard piece of coursework. Obviously, we had to, and this is a challenge for universities, is to change the way you think and what you're trying to develop. So that critical thinking, AI couldn't give them the answer. No one got 100%. So it's quite sad because I agree. You do hear of, well, if you're going to go to uni, why go to accounting? Because that may not exist. Whereas actually, to date, touch wood, no one's got 100% on the coursework. If they get it in an exam, then fair play, fair play to them.
Indeed. And I don't know whether you want me to add this, but if you remember on
Mm.
the panel discussion we had at the BBH SCA AGM, where we're navigating the next generation of accountancy and how AI is redefining skills and recruitment. You mentioned a key word there because you were on that panel, if you remember, and
Yeah.
critical thinking was one of the uh, you know takeaways from that. Critical thinking with context, where you're able to contextualize the information that's been generated, or in some cases, the data that's been generated by AI. And it's actually the ability to be able to adapt then as a professional or an aspiring professional, with showing the right behaviors of wanting to continuously learn and really transform yourself. So quite rightly so, there's a lot we can take from that, especially from the outcome of the assessment you mentioned there. The fact that when it comes to critical thinking, AI is probably not at the stage where it will be able to resolve issues, and we'll probably get to it anyway, I think, in your next few points.
Yeah, I'm sure. So the next one, I don't have a good way to phrase it, but people see AI as a whole, and AI, the way I see it is AI is not equal. So I don't know if you agree with that. Not all AI is equal. You've got Gen AI versus Agent AI. Some platforms are doing both. One does, one very well, doesn't hasn't really had the other function. How do you see it? Do you see them as a very different parts?
Yeah, I think probably in terms of the tools that have been developed, you have, uh, in my experience, because I can speak to what I'm very very much aware of. The combination of the two is really yet to be truly optimized, because what we've got to remember, of course, is you've got very general AI, right? Where the front end is for anyone to be able to use it, the likes
Yeah,
of
conversational.
ChatGPT, etc., which is not really specialist. I do know they offer more enterprise level solutions for some of their clients on the business end, where the agentic or agents that they are able to train to carry out the work on behalf of the user, right? Uh, in combination with generative AI, which is then able to do a little bit more of that critical thinking from what the agents have actually collected. Now, in a perfect world, they should work hand in hand very well together to produce quality output once assessed, unfortunately, by a human being. Fortunately for us, and unfortunately for it, you know, it still needs assessing. So I would say the journey towards combining the two, which will probably overcome some of the critical thinking issues that we mentioned, has to be where we're going, but we're not certainly not there yet, as far as I can see. I'm pretty sure if you find other specialist tools, that may not be the case. But yeah, that's those are my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think it's really good that you say that because I almost see if we've got this cycle, the very first cycle was we've got your conversation with your chat GPT, you can talk to it, it's great, emails, yeah. And that's where a lot of people are. It's just like stage one, it's now drafting really good looking emails, happy days. The next stage of these agent AI, agentic AI, where it's actually taking action for you. I believe Microsoft weirdly I got this fact yesterday. They've changed the name of this agentic AI. I believe it's now called co autopilot. So it's agents. I know. Uh, I'm still not set on it
Is
if it
that a
really
subset of
works.
Copilot then, and it's so called
Yeah,
autopilot, is it?
autopilot. Essentially, you can set it up and run it, and it runs on its own. So that's like the level three of our AI tier approach, I guess. So really exciting stuff, but obviously we need to take it step by step
Yeah.
for sure. So,
But to be honest, I'm not sure I would want it to run on its own and
well,
feel safe
that's it. Yeah,
regarding that. And I
I
think
think you
that's
have to
probably
be
more of
very
a
brave.
mindset issue. But yeah, that's probably another story or for another day, or maybe for
Yeah,
today. Who knows?
yeah, exactly. It's you have to be very brave to let it loose at this stage. Anyway, unless someone else says otherwise. But um, I think the next kind of myth, I'll try and get a yes no answer from yourself. Free version of ChatGPT, good, bad, yes, no.
Bad. No.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. I heard yesterday. I was at a conference, AI conference yesterday, and we had a number of discussions going on, and one of the someone mentioned this praise point of we've given all our staff access to the free version of ChatGPT to use on a daily basis, and I was just sitting there like, doesn't sound like a great idea. I was like, for a day to day work, you give them the free version. If it's local, then fine, but it didn't sound like it was local. It was more of a case of go log in ChatGPT and knock yourself out. Uh,
Nothing's for free. Nothing is
yeah,
ever
nothing's
for
for
free.
free. You're selling your personal data. Yeah,
Absolutely. This is it. It's the same strategy, right? With I think anything that we're using for free, the socials that we use, the data is so valuable. It's more valuable than whatever it is we think we're getting from it in terms of monetary standards. So yeah, I mean that is very very concerning, and I think one of the steps one has to take, especially in a commercial context, is checking the terms and conditions of any apps that they're using, because that will tell you everything about to what extent you should be frank and completely disclosing information to a piece of AI, because of course confidentiality is a key issue, and privacy as well,
yeah.
of client data, especially if you're working in practice. And even if you're working in industry, it might also be the same as well, because who knows what you'll be sharing out there, which you shouldn't really be sharing otherwise.
Yeah, definitely. The interesting part is interesting 'cause for those who are joining us or listening, obviously we think okay, practice, everyone's going to be using it, and it's everyone else's client data. Business, it's there could be a team of 5 of you or 10 of you in the finance function, and you've
Mm,
got data for all of that business's clients, all of that data of that business. I mean, that itself is the amount of data you're responsible for is shocking or scary, especially for free versions of ChatGPT anyway. But let's talk about actually what is AI actually being used for right now. I think that's what everyone wants to kind of know. Actually, where are we? Are we too far behind? Are we ahead of the game? You hear
mm.
a lot of talk. It kind of stresses you out. I don't know if you're the same. I went to talk yesterday and I was like, oh, I'm so far behind. What the heck's happened? And then you actually see the content and you see what they're doing, and you're like, oh, actually, you know what? That's fine. I do that anyway.
Yeah.
So for me, I use AI daily. So for research, for content, client work, all sorts. Now, I have to caveat it. I don't use AI directly for everything. So, for example, bookkeeping, I use APEN. It has a William AI function in it that's pushing more purchase invoices through to my account system. That alone there's a noticeable efficiency jump, and that's a really simple thing. Tested it, trialed it as you should, and that's a notable jump. Um, have you seen anything else? Obviously, tax research, maybe from your side, getting the summaries. What I find AI is good at, the conversational AI is, if you say go do this, give me the links. I don't know if you do that, and then you can go and do it yourself just in case they've been creative, shall we say.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, to your point about you feel like you're always behind the curve, right? When it comes to AI, I think once we finish this chat, we're already behind the curve because the the upgrades and the progress within the development sphere is mad. Because I get daily emails from the core developers in terms of what it is they're doing, the ones that are writing white papers, and you can't keep up. That's the honest truth. But you can only do what you can in terms of your area of expertise. So when I'm looking at the use of AI, aside from the generic chat GPTs, which I actually don't prefer to use, tend to use it for uh, uh, research around, especially when I'm dealing with HMRC inquiries. Um, Sometimes it can take a long time to actually get the right references to cases, the right references to legislation. So the tool that I use is actually Perplexity AI, the Pro version,
Mm,
which
interesting.
is quite helpful and provides uh, a more generative tool, which is the computer aspect of it, which does think through what it's giving you as well. Uh, but at the same time, there are tools within the report writing sphere that are also available, which can improve the efficiency of preparing some reports. Now, what you find actually is you still cannot fully rely on it to be able to generate the level of detail that you want, or sometimes the format that you actually want it to have. So in many ways, you might shift the speed of preparation. You might increase the speed of preparation, but you then increase the time of review because you have to review all the underlying data sources to make sure
Mm,
that they
true.
they're actually accurate. Um, and so yeah, even because I also work, part of my role is sort of like a finance role within the business rather than operations. So if I didn't mention it at the top of the call, the company I'm a senior partner for is InnoFund Consulting Limited. So we work within everything innovation funding related, from R&D to patent box, etc. So that does require quite a lot of technical investment in time, and the AI tools that we use are related to that. So preparatory work. Uh, in fact, today I was speaking to a former colleague of mine who started working for another company, and they effectively have a full suite of agents that can
Oh,
probably
fantastic.
do the entire job that I currently do within the AI suites. Right now, whether one will trust that is one thing, but it is there, and those tools are there. So that will save a lot of time in terms of prep work, but obviously you have to then review everything that is prepared. So like having a junior. So yeah,
Uh, I think that's it. That's the really important bit. Is technically you can use AI for many things. I guess it's the question of should you be doing it, or is it actually going to save you time? Um, if you can remove some of the processing part, then fantastic. But you need that person to be checking it, to making sure that data's correct. Um, really, really funny that you mentioned the white paper. So this is really sad of me, and it makes me look like a massive geek. Obviously, in my moment of fear that Missoff, Claude Missoff, potentially got announced yesterday. Thankfully, it didn't, and we'll come on to that one later. I was looking at the white paper, and interestingly, there was a big jump in improvement on Claude Fable 5, which was out yesterday. But the main test against humanity, the one where we're like, oh crap, we're all goners, hasn't actually improved on the paper, or it improves slightly, but it's not a massive jump. Where other areas were quite big, so hopefully that's some comfort to us. Shall we talk horror stories? I've got a few here for you, so I'll get your opinions
Sure.
or reactions. So if you're listening to this, I'm very sorry you're not going to be able to see Simba's reaction live. If you're obviously watching it live, then fantastic. So the first one is a favorite of mine, and I completely forgot about this for many, many months. Um, but I don't know if you recall the DPD chatbot issue. So essentially, they made this chatbot. They set it loose, so DPD on their website. Customers tried it, got into it, and effectively they had screenshots that went viral overnight because the chatbot was swearing at customers, criticizing its own company. It was a kind of a PR nightmare. But yeah, I mean that's I don't know if you heard that one.
Do you know what? It's the first time I've actually heard of it, and it's not surprising, right? Because there has been there was a story actually. If you, I don't know whether you remember this. So you talk about that DPD chatbot. Imagine creating a WhatsApp group with bots, like
Oh,
chatbots or whatever AI
oh no.
agents. Yes, it didn't end very well.
Oh, I
So this was
haven't
an
seen that one.
experiment to see how they would interact with each other. And yeah, what I realized, and I've actually changed my approach in using my prompts for AI. I'm actually now saying please, because apparently one of the complaints was these humans are not very polite. They just demand things from us.
Oh, so
And
it's spinning on the heads. Now we should say please because they're realizing
exactly,
we're not being
exactly.
polite.
But from do you know what? From my side, the horror stories actually relate to a couple of things really, court cases in particular, which I
Mm.
think we've seen aspects of that. But in tax, for example, where somebody has taken their case to tax tribunal, which is the UK court system for dealing with contentious tax issues, and they used ChatGPT to prepare their case, didn't use a lawyer, and of course the judges have to then look at the whether it's the defense or otherwise, which has been written up. They have to look at the research, look at okay, what is the case actually saying. So in doing that, the judge discovered that the, all the cases had been fake. They
Oh,
didn't really exist. And then it became pretty clear that this person had used AI to generate the court documents that were required to for them to go to court. And of course, that didn't end very well for them because it gave us anyway, as experts in the field, some idea of the court's view on the use of AI in court cases. One is always going to still be responsible for what they produce. You can't blame ChatGPT for your own oversights, and and
yeah.
it is just ridiculous. And then the other thing is, when you receive HMRC inquiry letters, there have been rumors in the industry that HMRC are actually using, whether that's Copilot or something else, some form of AI to generate the letters
Oh
because
gosh.
half of them didn't make any sense.
I love it.
You're trying to piece together what the questions are, what they're really asking, and it doesn't fit. Sometimes you even get it's been addressed to the incorrect company. The fields, the areas in which they're questioning don't even apply to the said company as well. And so it's that's before the courts, but obviously that's another example I've come across. So
Yeah, I guess if you make it complex enough, hopefully someone will just admit to some sort of wrongdoing and pay some money. Uh, um, yeah, it's interesting because obviously that one was quite a funny story. Obviously not for DPP, of course, or maybe the customers, because it was quite strong language, shall we say? Not for lunch anyway.
yeah,
Um, there were some security ones as well. I know. I think it was OpenAI. They had a massive fine for GDPR breach, and if you're thinking, one obviously going back to free ChatGPT, if that's not a warning sign, then I don't know what is. But it does give you that that realization of like, crap. I really need to be careful if the core softwares are getting caught out every now and again. I need to be careful at least. The next one I had, I think a few people kind of sent me this. Funny enough, was a story about an influencer promoting you can post your payroll into ChatGPT and it will do the rest for you.
Gosh.
Now it was post the full names, salaries, NI numbers, the whole thing into the tool, and there was no disclaimers, there's no mention about no data protection awareness, there's no
Mm.
make sure you're on a paid one or a closed one. It was just, did you know you can post payroll into AI now? Happy days. And it's like, oh, that's just crazy.
It's hot stuff in movement, that isn't it?
You need like, so many disclaimers to be like, it's technically possible, probably shouldn't do it. Definitely don't do it if you're on a free version. Probably don't do it elsewhere unless it's local under so many restrictions. I mean, you have to be very brave. I'm not that brave
Absolutely.
just yet. But yeah, crazy.
Yeah. And I feel like when you mentioned that, the first thing that came to my mind was there should be some kind of influencer professional body, right, that can enable and empower influencers to actually have an awareness of some of these things. I'm not sure whether it exists or not, because I
Mm,
find that because of the ICAW's code of conduct and ethics, it tends to inform some of the decisions that one ends up making, because as soon as you said it, the
definitely.
first thing was, oh, okay. Was
Yeah.
their thought process here to say, can I actually share? What's going to happen to this data? And, you've got all sorts of things there, isn't it? And imagine if you're doing it in mass and advising a very wide breadth of viewers to do that. I mean, that it could lead to all sorts of unintended consequences.
Yeah, definitely. The whole influencer thing's really, really interesting. 'Cause I always say to my other half, I was like, there's this person is on Instagram. It's like they're blatantly getting paid or some sort of deal to promote this product. There's no way they're doing all of this for nothing. And there's so many rules in place. And at the moment, it feels like either it's not quick enough or there's not a real connection for us to go, right, they're talking a load of crap, kind of report them and go elsewhere. But yeah, if people say, go do it, all you need
Mhm.
is that one person to go do it. I mean, I don't know if you are waiting for this, but there's going to be one big data breach on with AI from a business or practice. It's bound to happen at some point.
Yeah,
It's
it'll be tough
making
to
sure
take
it's not
that.
it's not us.
I mean, yeah, I don't even want to imagine that, because the impact, the consequences, if you're on the receiving end of that, they'll just, you can't really even calculate what that will do. Already, because you've got the trust issue anyway, right? Where the trust is being built in people to use AI, and
Mm,
but there are limits to that trust in a way, because in as much as you've talked about that influence example, you still find that people will hesitate to provide information that's much more personal, particularly to them, when you're using it on a consumer level. When it's a business level, of course, if there are controls in place, then there'll be a lot more restrictions. But if there's a data breach, I mean, that's going to take
yeah.
the investment of people's time and money in AI maybe a little step back. So hopefully that won't happen. But as you say, who knows? You never say never, right? It's probably going to happen at least once.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it does come on to the point of having AI policies in business.
Mm.
Or if you've got an engagement with someone, if you're using AI, should you have some sort of disclaimer in your engagement letter to say, hey, we're using AI for this process. Now, most softwares is where my clients will have a touch point with AI. So we're, and that's been there for years. That's stuff that's a given that people use, and it's a case of I know in our engagement letters it's standard that there was a piece saying we're going to use third-party software, and that's all up to a certain standard. So I think if people start using independent AI models directly themselves, I think that's where probably need to start looking at some policies and display engagement letters. That's all the legal side that comes out as well. So obviously we're doing this kind of AI fireside chat. We've had all these announcements going on. There's talk of Apple's AI making a comeback. We've got Misoff. I keep saying this wrong. From Claude. The rumor is, I don't know how much you're aware, they've made this next big upgrade. They didn't release it to the public because it's too powerful. It's too good. It sounds like a massive PR success for them, but they've kind of said it's too good for cracking cybersecurity, and it's found too many vulnerabilities. They've had to give it to a small group of businesses to kind of prepare themselves. I guess prepare a big chunk of the internet of, look, this
Great
is what
PR,
these
isn't it?
areas. Off you
Yeah,
go.
great PR. Is this the same? I think if I remember correctly, is this the same release where the US government was given priority access?
That's it. Yeah. So they're
Yeah.
one of them. There's a special group name. I can't remember what it's called. It's like Glass Suffin. But there's a group of, I'm going to say 50 to 80. I could be really wrong here. They've had access, and the announcement yesterday was, okay, we're releasing this part, but we still can't release the other part. And it sounds terrifying that
It
they're
sounds
not
absolutely
releasing it.
terrifying.
Obviously, great promo for them when it comes out, but my goodness, if they've actually had to keep it back and give it to the large
Mm.
businesses and say, hey, this is what's coming up. These are the security risks that are coming. It does make you think.
My
So
conspiracy theory is this is probably why we're not getting all these IPOs coming out because
yeah,
if because what I mean, listen, you take a step back. If you make that announcement, which government wouldn't want to test this before it's released to the public? You
mm,
Every government would want to do that. Which bank wouldn't want to test this before it's released to the public, right? And all
true.
these research organizations as well, if they've got the cash to do it. So yeah, then it makes sense now to say, right, it's time we actually raise some cash to make this even better.
Yeah, is it a conspiracy? Yeah, I mean, even Donald Trump's been talking about and wanting a piece of the action in terms of like
Mm.
government investment into the likes of Claude, ChatGPT, etc. I imagine. But so what what's next? Where do we begin? So assuming everyone is they've used a ChatGPT, Claude, others are available to draft an email. They've done that. They're looking at these agent AIs, thinking, okay, I can take action. That seems to be the next step. What do you have any general advice for people taking next step?
I mean, I suppose it really does depend on your where you are in your journey, right? If you're right at the start of your journey, I'll probably just say just do some general research on reviews, even if it's I don't know, Trustpilot reviews, right? To see what specifically you're looking for. Um, Once if you're already on your journey and you're currently using tools and maybe you're not too satisfied with what you're using, then you can always benchmark. You can even use the AI to benchmark the tool the tool that you're
Yeah,
using,
true.
right? And you can use a couple of them as well, just to see whether or not you get a level of consistency. Um, and depending on the risk you're willing to take, or rather the protections you need in place, you can make sure that the prompts that you put through are uh, allowing you to set the parameters correctly. So, for example, if you're working within a very high security environment, check your company policy first if one exists, obviously.
Yeah.
Make sure that you are working within that. If it doesn't exist, then maybe talk to the person who's responsible for that. If you are the person responsible for it, then try and put that policy in place somewhat.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, if you feel like you're still optimizing the use of the current tools, I think joining, say for example, APEN to get regular updates of what's actually going on, or even subscribing as well to publications that issue details on what's actually going on in this space is actually quite useful. But whatever you do make sure you read the terms and conditions of whatever tools you're signing up to, or you may fancy even creating your own tool.
Exactly. I think it's a really good point. So I love tech. I've had all these ideas. It's a bane of my life in terms of accounting because I get bored and I want to make an app.
Oh,
Now,
there we go.
from a personal perspective, it's really easy for me to make an app to like a beta version and say, look, this is my next idea. It looks great, and you can build fixed asset registers. You can build a CRM, onboarding tools, the whole whack from the like these no code systems. But in reality, from a personal side, that's really good. And some people take it on to then do the whole security, get someone in, get a coder in to do it properly, which is obviously fantastic. Well done for them making the right move. I think as consumers, it's a case of going, well, in reality, am I going to build something myself and am I going to take the risk? Whereas in reality, there's probably going to be a software out there. Maybe you need to change the software. Yeah, I talk about APEN earlier. The cost per month for a business to have APEN, it is so small. It's not worth trying to reinvent the wheel to match what they do, no matter how much AI improves. They've already brought AI in to improve their side as well. And it's a case of, well, actually, sitting back at home, what do I need to do? It might be the case of just look at your app stack, look at what softwares your business is using. Are there any new ones out there? Or are there other ones that are actually developing what's in the pipeline? Because a lot of the success is probably going to come from them areas. If you're really geeky like me, you'll love to go at it and be like, right, I'm going to make a whole new bespoke CRM system for myself. It looks great. I built a Jarvis, so I can tell my computer in the morning, turn on, I get the whole Iron Man spiel. I get ACDC playing. I've got all my hotkeys. It looks great, but again, from that side, there's very little data because it's just links. Does it really save me time? No. Does it make me happy in the morning when I see this massive Jarvis come on? Yes. There's a little, uh,
It's my baby.
yeah, a little kid in me is like, oh, I've just made Jarvis. This is great. Um, but once you start putting in client data or personal data, it's a whole different ballgame. So we're probably coming up to wrap this up then. So obviously, yep, APEN, we're going to be doing community. Well, first off, we'll be doing a podcast series, hopefully very soon, in discussions of where we go with that and future guests. So Simba, perhaps we'll get you on for a more professional, polished podcast. But then it's a case of community. So having WhatsApp chat, no bots allowed, especially from your story, or even some sort of chat function, whether it's Discord, etc., for us to kind of just talk amongst ourselves and be like, have you seen this or this, blah blah blah, and yeah, the CPD element of continuous training, I guess that kind of matches it all. So before I kind of get into obviously saying thanks and wrapping up officially, I wanted to leave everyone listening with one kind of takeaway. So I don't know, Simba, do you have one takeaway for the audience from this session? I'm putting you on the spot. So
Yes, of course. I'll probably refer back to, I think one of the key facets we discussed in the previous chat we had, which is adaptability.
excellent.
Because whatever the future holds, wherever you are right now, and whatever you intend to do, if you are inflexible in terms of how adaptable you are to the changing world that we're in, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to maintain a level of relevance actually in this world. So for me, you've got to be adaptable in everything that comes with it.
That is a very hard task to follow. I couldn't put it better myself. I think adaptability is so key. Um, yeah, that's an excellent answer. What a response to the first for the first one. Um, so, yeah, that is a tough ask. So for me, it's probably um, one takeaway would be take it simple. Yeah, it might be the case of knowing all this stuff, but actually your only real action is keeping an eye on the softwares you use and are they bringing in AI. It might be the case, depending on your nature of your business or your practice, you bring someone in to develop the right level of AI. I've seen some great deployments of AI in businesses, um, and they're working with the likes of Amazon, Google, etc. So clearly it does work from a spoke level. It's just whether it's the right fit. Don't feel like you need to be making Jarvises on the weekend and learning how to code overnight. Keep things simple. Um, so I think what is left to say is firstly, Simba, obviously, thank you so much for joining me on this fireside chat on AI.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been brilliant to have you on, so really appreciate it, and obviously thank you everyone else for listening. Uh, Simba, if people want to see you and hear from you more, do you have a website you want to point them to?
Yeah, sure. So if
More about what you
uh,
do?
well, whether you do want to hear from me more, see me or talk to me, so you can go to www.innofund.uk. We've got all our contact details there. Uh, or if you wish to, if you're more local, you're in Beds, Bucks, and Herts, you could go to bbhsca.org.uk. There are a whole host of activities that we're carrying out. I mean, the very next one is a barbecue at St. Michael's Manor in St. Albans, which the tickets are selling very fast, but it will be next month. So if you wish to
Mhm.
join, you're a young professional, it's for young members, or you feel young, yeah, you can go on that
Yes.
side, and then yeah, you can certainly join us for that as well.
Yeah, I have to say the barbecue is fantastic, and uh, they say younger members. I think this is such a accountancy industry thing. A younger
I
member,
know, right?
you would think would be maybe 25, 30. What is the age? I think is it 40, 45?
I
I
don't I
think
don't think age is a factor because I'm certainly
yeah.
attending. So
I don't think there is a hard cutoff anymore. I believe it
no,
was around 45 as a younger member, if
yeah,
I'm right in
it used to
thinking,
be. I'm not too sure what
which
it
is
is,
such an
but
accountancy industry thing. But I'll run with that title for a good few years left yet. Um, so thank you once again, Simba. Really appreciated it. If people want to listen to hopefully the next podcast or check in on this community as we build it, it's still very early days. This is very much a soft launch, but the website is apen.uk. So hopefully see you all next time, and thank you for listening.
excellent.